use your head. Hello, YouTubers and all those who happen to watch. I hope you guys are all doing quite well. Hope you're touching your nipples and hope you're touching your ding-a-langs as you watch along. Oh, man. So, alright. Got a couple pickups here. First, I'd like to show my 26-in-1 SD card reader, which I got this initially for one real reason, which, yeah, it does micro, it does MMC micro, it does mini SD, and primarily I wanted it for the SDHC, which have a Class 6 micro SD card, which I use for my Raspberry Pi. And this is the primary reason I got this too, so that I can use it, you know, initially for that core reason to be able to upload and unload, you know, ROMs or anything like that for the Pi, because I initially got it for that. A couple problems I'm having with the Pi is it's not connecting to my router. It's not detecting it very well, so it's a very annoying process. But, I mean, I like the device itself. I don't have any problems with the Raspberry Pi. It's just, you know, it's a building process to get to that point. So, didn't pay too much for this. It works really well. It works pretty damn good. So, my recommendations, if you see this on eBay, it comes with this, comes with that, and it comes on one of these generic-ass thingies here. But, you know, it's really good. Really useful. Cheap as hell. Free shipping. Can't go wrong. Very, very, very compact. Put it in your pocket for fucking any reason whatsoever. So, alright. The next thing I got here was a copy of Tetris for the Game Boy. Now, I did not ever in my lifetime own a personal copy of Tetris. Sounds completely weird. Absolutely. I mean, I played it a lot when I was younger. When friends had the game, you say, yeah, play whatever the fuck you want. So I put this in the Game Boy and play it. Now that I own it, I think my man card has been reinstated when it comes to owning a Game Boy now, I believe. So I am an official owner of a Game Boy for that reason, I suppose. Even though having Super Mario Land is just as dignifying, I suppose, too, or having Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Back from the Sewers on Game Boy is a more dignifying situation as well. However, this Russian puzzle game with tiles that come down from the sky and you're going to build them as quickly as possible before the time permits you to lose is quite fun, simple, and great. So having this in the collection is pretty fantastic. So, alright, moving on. Next I got something modern, as I almost dropped it on the floor. Is Resistance 1. I had 2 and 3. I like 2 and 3. So far my impressions of part 1 here is the controls are kind of poopy. Like, they're not as good as I'd want them to be, but again, of course, this is sort of a building stone for the other two, which had really good controls in their own right. I'm not ever in my lifetime going to play a multiplayer for this specific title, but I have to obviously play through the first one, and I'll have, you know, a complete mindset of the entire series in a nutshell. So, there you go. Next game I have here, don't yawn now, is Ratchet & Clank Going Commando. And wanted to get a Ratchet & Clank game. I initially liked Ratchet & Clank anyway, so I could be able to finally enjoy the goodness that is called Ratchet & Clank. Interesting thing about this specific title is how they present the manual. I believe I showed this before, I'm not too sure. However, the manual is actually inside this little slipcover, which I've never seen that really for a manual before. And it's also British style manualing, where it's a long strip versus, you know, the whole booklet, which is like this. So it's really interesting how they did this. It's not unusual. It also feels like it has weight to it, so you open up the book, you're like, oh good, look, I get the disc in the manual, yay! But no, it's has a nice hefty weight to it, so it's always nice to know you have a nice hefty, weighty case for whenever you decide to do exercise while you're gaming, you know, while you're, oh, time to pause the game. Feel the burn, baby. Oh, but, yeah, didn't pay too much, so I'm happy. Got the first Sly Cooper in the Thievius Raccoons, which is pretty fantastic in its own right. The beginning of the series, but at the same time, supposedly really excellent. Excuse me. So if I enjoyed this one, I can go out and get the Part 4 and as well as the bundle collection for the PlayStation 3. So, again, didn't pay too much. Wanted to own a Sly Cooper game, so now I do. So, all is right in the world. Next, these two right here are something you probably already saw already, but again, just showing generally what I've gotten throughout the period of purchasing things is Tsukaiki, or Tsukaiki, this game right here, there you go. Guru Larry brought up a point that his friend from schooling also did the artwork for this game, which the artwork is pretty decent. The combat isn't as great. It feels kind of stiff to an extent. I mean, it's not a bad game at all. It's just the combat kind of doesn't feel very good. I'm very picky about combat like that too, but, you know, it's a pretty decent game anyway, so I can't go wrong with that. On top of that, the front cover has a very erotic-looking chick. A lot of fan service right there. Last but not least, a lot of people consider this the last very good Tony Hawk's pretty much skateboarding game. A lot of people will argue that the HD game was very good. I'm just a moron for not believing so, but however, the modern Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD, the controls don't feel very good. That's all I gotta say about that. American Wasteland is pretty darn good. The soundtrack is decent, and it handles well. So, you know, it plays in 480p and all that nature. The multiplayer for this don't work anymore, unless of course you play on a 360 copy. Then it'll probably work okay, I suppose, if it even is up anymore. But generally like my Tony Hawk games. I enjoy the arcadey, skateboarding game kind of thing. I mean, I like Skate, but I like Tony Hawk Pro Skater a lot as well. So I'm probably gonna get the Underground 1 and 2 as well in the console format. I mean, I have it on PSP, but I'd rather get it on, something like this. So yeah, that's all I generally gotten or received. Feel pretty confident behind my purchases, so yeah, that's all for now. So take it easy. Thank you guys so much for watching, and take care. This chair needs to die.